Caution, this game contains scenes of violence and gore, as well as depictions of criminal acts. These acts are strictly punished by law. Please do not attempt to imitate them. This game also contains themes of sexual violence and self-harm. This game is a work of fiction. Any relationship to real persons, groups, places, or crimes is coincidental. A big pimple right here. I really couldn't ask Remy to come to the base over the weekend, so I spent 2 days alone and afraid. On Friday, Remy had bought me enough food that I was able to spend the weekend entirely indoors, but I was still afraid enough that several times I almost sent her an email asking her to come over. In the end, I didn't, though. The only time I was released from my fear was at 30 minutes when I was watching the latest episode of Bloodtoon. Even with all that happening, I still refused to give up Bloodtoon. If Remy was my pillar of story in the real world, then my 2D support was Bloodtoon, or more specifically, Sedaton. She's supposed to be like 17, right? And then Monday, after I survived the weekend, I looked at the Phantasm community on Frepa and saw that something was going on. I quickly clicked the link on that sent me to @channel. The place was in an uproar. The real name is Kishimoto. She spent time when she was a kid. The hospital's name is AHM. She what? She spent time in a mental institution. You know who else has the power and spent time in a mental institution as a kid? Some fucking asshole at their school recognized her and leaked this shit on fucking 4chan equivalent. Oh my god, the big ass pimple. This one I'm not so worried about because you can't see it. This one, it doesn't matter if like nobody was paying attention to it. I can see it in my peripheral vision, and when I look over at the camera preview, and it, well, I'm pointing at the camera, and now I'm pointing at my second monitor. I can see in the camera preview, and it's really pissing me off. Phantasm, whatever, buddy. KWSK, whose eyes are those? What's a fast MJD? AH. Middling Jew death? Is that what that means? Tips. Majide. Really? Seriously? Another troll, another hater, you troll's skill sucks. You're lying. Fest was never in a mental hospital. AHM. Hound in the Stag. You might be the next ninja victim. Real name is Kishimoto. Arc Heart Medical Group. Oh, you guys were in love with her. Few rivals for me then. Feeling the fire. There's even a goddamn photo. Those are the Phantom lyrics in a Phantasm song, aren't they? And ISA said that. Somebody said that's lyrics in a song because, you know, she said that shit. So that's why it was so familiar to me. Feel the black mass tonight. LOLA. LOL. A. Baston. Okay. LOLI. Fucking hate. Okay, not sure what this means. Try saying, if you're not LOLI. LOLI. Okay, LOL, but then what the fuck does that? LOLI. LOLI. LOLI? I've come to the realization that it probably means LOL, whose eyes are those? Arc Heart Medical Association was a long-established psychiatric facility that only treated the most severe patients. There was a picture of the hospital on the site, and it showed bars on the windows. It looked like an old prison. I wasn't sure if it even existed anymore. The homepage hadn't been updated for almost 4 years. But just like @Chan had said, the picture of a young Ayase Kishimoto, along with the poem she'd written. The body lurks in the shadow of a wicked heart, a thing which cannot be seen. I try to get away from it, but this unending nightmare shall someday become a blade and slash apart my body. A shield of indifference helps the people avoid the flames of war. The enemy on this newborn battlefield is the wicked one within the heart. Evil can sometimes have a will of its own and manifest in our world. I wasn't really shocked or anything. I'd gone to a mental hospital when I was in elementary school too. And if anything, it made me feel a little closer to her. That right there, that's important. Write that down, write that down. She was just like me, for real. Despite all her popularity, despite her charisma, she was just like me. Having this in common made the idea that I had the same power she did, the power to project delusions into reality, feel more likely. It gave me courage and hope. But there was one problem. Until now, I'd blindly believed everything she'd said. But maybe that was a mistake. What she'd said about how to get a D sword, even the fact that getting a D sword would be what saved me. I started to doubt not what she'd showed me, but what she'd told me. Should I believe it or... Started in fright as my phone suddenly rang. Phones always love to surprise you when you're least expecting it. That's why I hated them. I sighed and picked it up. You know, you could have been spending the weekend trying to, like, get better at getting the D sword. You were so close until Remy got your ass. She was finally calling to complain about something again. What a nuisance. Fuck you. I hit the accept call button and put the number up to my ear without bothering to look at the number. Okay, now before he gets hit with this CIA propaganda-ass phone call that sounds like Golden Freddy on night 5, I want to tell you a joke. Why did the white man go to the local fried chicken shop? Fuck you. All right, here's another one. Knock, knock. Cargo. Owls say who? Not fucking cars, you dumbass. Why was this the one call where I didn't look at the... Why did I do that? Okay, here's the fucking CIA. Fucking ass shit. Toriance. I quickly looked at the number on the phone's LCD display. It was the same number. But how? Thought it wasn't in service anymore. It had an enemy calling it, and there'd been a message saying so. The person behind this prank brought it back online? What do I do? I looked around the room. If Remy was here, she would give me some advice. But she wasn't. Of course not. Remy was at school right now. I told her I wasn't going today, and she hadn't come to wake me up. The melody kept playing as I sat there freaking out. A whole minute had passed. So, did he call? Is it like this? No, no. It wouldn't be the same day of the week, right? Because he said the weekend just passed. But I don't remember if that happened on like a Wednesday. He doesn't really say like what day it is. So that a couple days passed, so that or a certain amount of days passed. So I don't pay attention. Sounds of people walking, of car engines, so it had to be outside. Who was on the phone? I can only think of one person who'd pull a prank like this. Shogun. I turned to Seta-tan, who was standing next to my PC monitor, for help. What do you think I should do, Seta? Seta-tan smiled the way she always did. Just hang up, ignore it. Yeah, that's right, I can do that. I should have done that from the start. I put my thumb to the on-call button, but for some reason, I decided to listen to the Torianse melody just a little more before I hung up. Felt so strange. I wanted to hang up right now, but almost unconsciously, I put the hand with the phone up to my ear. Joy of creation. An incredible pain, a violent sound like a supersonic wave. The sound infected my body. My head felt an impact like it had been struck by lightning. My whole body froze. I screamed, but I couldn't even hear my own voice. I boiled over. My brain, my heart, they boiled and bubbled and started to melt. The pain tore through my body, ripping my flesh. My mind turned to the liquid and raced through my body, converging at my heart and exploding into a fine mist. It felt horrible, crazy. I couldn't even think about what had just happened to me. When Yue Kusunoki opened her eyes, she could tell that all hell had broken loose in Class 3B, her class. Several of the students were lying on the ground. Their eyes had rolled into the back of their heads. They were foaming at the mouth, spasming and jerking. Some of the others were curled up into little balls, clutching their heads in pain. The rest were standing up one after another and leaving the room. Even though it was the middle of class, the teacher was too busy helping the ones who were having seizures to stop them. The students in the hallway were all yelling in shock, but Yue didn't hear what they were saying. Her phone had been going off inside her skirt pocket. She finally realized it was buzzing and slowly reached a hand toward it. She tried to stand up, but she staggered and fell from her chair. She crouched and leaned up against the wall. After putting her glasses back on her face, she pressed the answer call button. You shouldn't have done that, Yua. Hello? Yes? Huh? Okay. Yes? Oh, I'm okay. Wait, that's not the voice for you. So, Rini? Okay. She could hear the voices of her classmates talking noisily outside, and her teachers shouting at the fallen students to wake up. But all this seemed to be happening very far away. I'm sorry? Yes. Who are you? Yes, I see. And... Huh? Her face suddenly turned pale as she gulped. She covered the phone with her hand and dropped her voice low. It was clear from her tone that whatever she had heard had rattled her. That's impossible! Because it was... She stopped and let her hood drop. It was actually me. The noise outside grew louder. Everyone was looking in the same direction, pointing fingers with fearful expressions on their faces. The windows in the hallways were rattling like they had been hit by a gust of wind. Yes. Yes, my younger sister. Yes, understood. She bowed weakly, as if the person she was talking to was right in front of her, and hung up the phone. Then she looked up toward the direction everyone was pointing. The sky. It's red. It was like someone had poured a white paint on a pool of water's surface. The muddy blue sky was turning white. It was spreading at incredible speed. It was devouring the sky. It's turning white. Noah. Yasuji Ban was finally released from the long task force meeting and should have felt much better. But today things were different. He walked away from other detectives and toward the windowsill where he called his junior partner. Sua hadn't shown up for the meeting today. Bon had wanted to skip it too, so it didn't seem fair Sua got to. Sua might not look like it, but he took his work. Might not look like it. Wait, no, let's back up. You're Bon. Sua is the Phoenix Wright looking motherfucker. What do you mean he doesn't look like it? I mean, yes, he does look like he's fresh out of the academy and ready to get to work with bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but also, he's got that shit on, perfectly groomed, every damn day. Meanwhile, you come to work looking a fucking mess, stubble all over yourself, and your necktie isn't even on right, nigga. He's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to get to work. And I'm sitting here and I'm fucking your mom so badly that she's turned to dust and going to the grave because I'm a necrophile, bitch-ass nigga. Get that ass band. You're gonna die by the end of the story, and I fucking bet it, bitch. I never speak down on my nigga Sua like that ever again. We tried to get a hold of him several times, but there had been no answer. Ever since Bon talked to Momose 2 days ago, he'd had a bad feeling that wouldn't go away. But things had gotten even worse today. Not only was Sua missing, but when he brought up the GE rate during the meeting, Matsunaga had told him he was being ridiculous and he had to stop wasting everyone's time. Please don't let anything else happen. Does he know? Bon sighed a little as he fanned his face. He heard the call being picked up and Sua answered. Is that you? You idiot! Where the hell are you? The connection was really bad. Bon had wondered if Sua had gone off somewhere deep in the countryside. Sorry. Ask now, my own. Huh? What you say, where are you? Bon yelled. He stopped being able to hear Sua at all. And instead there was a small period of nothing but static. Well, can you hear me now? Yeah. So where the hell are you? I thought of something, so I'm out doing some questioning. Listen to me. Sua shouldn't have been going off on his own, but Bon had a nasty habit of doing just that. He chuckled. Maybe his bad habits rubbed on his junior partner. I think I've almost got it. Incontrovertible proof of the real Nugent killer's identity. The real killer? Bon's eyes went wide. I'm keeping it a secret for now. I might be wrong after all. Just get your ass back here, got it? No, I'm gonna look around a little more. What? Hey, oh, he's dying. Okay. Fine, leave it to me. Sua! His ass is gone. His ass is gone. An earthquake? The shaking got more and more violent. Bon couldn't even stay standing. He dropped to the ground to keep from falling over. This is a big one. At first, the other detectives seemed unconcerned, but they soon realized the seriousness of the situation. The fuck? And began to crouch or hide under tables. The clock on the wall, the pens and paper cups on the table, the projector device, and one after another, they fell to the floor. The 2 whiteboards in the conference room fell too. It's like a passenger jet that ran through a stream of turbulence. Turbulence. That's how it felt to Bond, like his legs weren't even touching the ground. The shaking was spinning his body left to right. Pose on me, left and right. It was probably a 5 or 6. In intensity. A couple more words. Pose on me, left or right. Glock 9 pull him out on a light. Is this the next big one, and now of all times? Then Bond felt a strong shock, like someone punched him in the face. He moaned in pain. No one had physically punched him. It was just an incredible headache. Oh, they're using the device to do psychological warfare on him, like in the court case, because he's getting too close to the truth. Suddenly a scream filled the conference room. Bond gritted his teeth and looked up. He saw one of the local detectives had his hands pressed up against his head, trembling in pain. Then he fell helplessly to the ground, like a jaw dropped by a child. Most of the other detectives were either wincing in pain. Okay, they're doing it to all of them. Never mind. What was his headache? He never felt anything like it before. Did it have something to do with the earthquake? Bond had no way of knowing. Little by little, the shaking stopped. Bond looked outside, vision blurry. There was white light everywhere. It was so bright. Bond couldn't even keep his eyes open. Of my eyes, feeling a pain so strong I thought my head would burst. I realized I'd fallen backwards into the middle of the room. I tried to get up, and when I did, pain in my head spread throughout the rest of my body. I moaned in agony. After 5 minutes or so of writhing on the floor, the pain gradually subsided. I managed to use a bedpost as a support to climb back up. I wiped away the thick sweat on my brow. My room looked like it had been hit by a tornado. All of my wipes had either toppled over or fallen off their shelf entirely. The bed was now tilted. My manga and H-game boxes had fallen off of it and scattered onto the floor. What had just happened? Picked up the phone and then heard Torian say, and then it sounded like an ambulance siren. That's right, there'd been that buzzer sound and then the loud sound of the earth rumbling. It felt like my whole body had boiled and melted. I didn't remember anything after that. My mind was a total blank. Was this some kind of electromagnetic wave attack by Shogun? Maybe Shogun could do the same thing as that system I'd read about in the patent. The idea terrified me. I looked up at the ceiling, reeling from my headache. Of course, there was nothing else to see. My mind was being read. It was being read by a satellite high above me. Nah, there's no way. But from what Senna had said before, it sounded like the system in the patent was already in use. And some people were using it for evil. One of those people was Shogun. No, that was impossible. There's no way that could be true. The frail old man looked like he could die at any moment. There's no way he could have his own orbital satellite. Was he at the center of some big government project? There was no point in starting a delusion and scaring myself to death with it. It's clear something had happened, so I decided to look online to find out what. I crawled toward the computer, trying my best to ignore the pain in my head. Huh? I'm sure I left my computer on. It should have been displaying the Seroton screensaver, but instead the screen was black. I hadn't set to go into standby mode automatically, so that shouldn't happen, but my mind was still foggy. My whole body felt frail and weak. It took all my strength just to stand up. I grit my teeth to help with the pain and try to move the mouse. Nothing. Except try the power button. My heart just started whirring quick. I slumped in my computer chair with a thud. It's gonna fucking not boot up. 1 p.m. What time had it been when I called that call? I remembered I was looking at information on ISH at Atchan. I tried to think and the pain just got worse. What time? Think, remember, that was right. It wasn't even noon yet. Which meant I was out for over an hour? Or had I been sleepwalking, off wandering somewhere for the past hour? I don't sleepwalk. I shook my head before my brain could fill itself with more negative thoughts. When I did, the aching in my head made me feel like I would pass out. It was like my brain had been replaced by a lump of lead. I looked over at the PC monitor. Wait, really? Could it be my hard disk was damaged? No, it can't be. This can't be happening. This is the end of the world. My gigabytes of save. Did this nigga have lolly hentai on his computer? My save data for my H games, my bookmarks for my daily browsing, my schedule that told me when to go to school. More than anything, the most important thing in the world to me, my ESO. Why is it saved on the computer? Was it all gone? Damn it. I wanted to scream in rage. Also, I wanted to kick in the walls, and more than anything, I wanted to see if it recovered right this very instant. My whole body was still heavy and slow, and my head was still ached. All I could do was like, and the loss of my ESO save data made my just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, dude. It doesn't make sense. Wait, Taki. Sarah looked at me from my that took me so out of it. Calm down. ESO is an online game to keep server. Did she mean the game's company server? So even if your PC breaks, Nightheart's data should be. Fuck you! Knock knock. Who's there? Fuck you! It felt like I found one small sliver of hope amidst the despair. Nigga, I'd be I'd be more worried about the figurines. Them shits are expensive. Way to go, my wife. I hadn't made any backups of my pics or MP3s, so I'd have to give up on those. Wasn't ideal, but I have a choice. I wanted to start reformatting as soon as possible. I need to see my ESO data. Big televisions outside of Shibuya station usually played commercials or promos for famous music artists. Today, however, they were showing a stern-looking newscaster. It was a TV show with the following text on the top of the screen. Intensity 5 earthquake. No, it says Shibuya earthquake, magnitude at least 5. At least 200 casualties. Earthquakes were nothing special in Japan. There had been several earthquakes around 5 on the scale of even around Tokyo. But as more information started coming in, it became apparent that the number of casualties was abnormally high. There was a similar earthquake in 2005, and not a single person died. Compared to that, this was almost unbelievable. This was even more true when you considered it happened in Shibuya, the center of the Nugent murders. That nigga over there, he still looks like Fuminori and the guy from JJK. There had been an earthquake 3 months ago in Shibuya, too. That one had only been a 3 on the scale, but 8 people had died. Was Shibuya cursed? Many of the people who saw the first reports of the quake thought that, even if they didn't say it. But either way, the first special broadcasts about the earthquake were ready to go almost as soon as it started. Right now, there wasn't a lot of solid information or clear numbers, but the female newscaster was reading out a script. Fire and Disaster Management Agency had confirmed at least 31 deaths and was expecting that number to grow even higher. The cause of deaths is currently unknown. There are also reports of mysterious white light in Shibuya after the earthquake, a shockwave, and turning the sky white. The cameras at Shibuya's Scramble Crossing had seen the light, and the TVs were showing the footage they had taken where everything had just turned white after the quake. The white had appeared just as the earthquake did. First, it was less a white and more of an incredibly intense light. Like in Lane. The light covered Shibuya in an instant and was so bright that no one could keep their eyes open. Anyone from the generation that lived through the last war would have immediately thought it was a nuclear weapon. In fact, there were those who had seen the white mushroom cloud rising hundreds of meters in the sky above Shibuya, but it had dissipated almost instantly. What the light was, what caused it, and what it had to do with the earthquake were, for the moment, total mysteries. The strangest thing was that the white sky had gone back to normal within an hour. There was a tiny crack just a few millimeters in the asphalt around Dogenzaka Hill. There were also small cracks in the walls at some of the mixed-use buildings around Center Street. My headache hadn't gone away. It took around 2 hours to reformat the hard drive. I'd almost passed out several times from the pain. I'd gone to sleep in the middle of something before, but this was my first time really passing out from something. Shit. I mean, I'm way more attached to the stuff on my 2 SSDs and my hard drive. My hard drive has a backup of everything that I've ever put on my SD card. So, yeah. And then my 4 terabyte NVMe SSD has everything I put on my SD card because I'm not comfortable with deleting that just yet, as well as like basically everything that I've had for 5 years now, with the exception of like Windows and other shit, which is all on my SSD. So I'm pretty attached to this shit. But I guess he just wasn't. Because all he really cares about is ESO. Like, I care about a lot bigger circle of things on my computer. But all he really cared about was ESO and the chat rooms. So, I mean, yeah. And this was also back when your bookmarks weren't stored on a server. All right, there was no Opera GX or Google Chrome bookmarks. I mean, I guess everybody who'd be watching this already knew that. But whatever. Put it back. I put the bed back where it was, giving myself a place to stand on the floor. It was hard considering how weak I was. But if I didn't clean it up, I wouldn't be able to even leave the place. I was trapped inside and unable to escape during Shogun's next attack. I needed a way to get out, like the movie. When my OS was finally back, I headed over and tried logging to Basilod. There's Nightheart! Because it wouldn't make any sense for this shit to... And I'm pretty sure that button is pretty sure that's the exact same amount of EXP as before. Still, I was so happy to see such an important part of me that hadn't disappeared after all. Now then, with that done, it was time to see what actually had happened. Personally, I wanted an apology and compensation from whoever was responsible. It felt like an earthquake. There were too many things that didn't make sense. I looked to see if Grim was playing, but he wasn't. I went to our usual chat room, though it was harder with my bookmarks gone, and he wasn't there either. What good was he if he wasn't there when I needed him? Started checking the top page of Taboo instead. Oh, so that controller fucking works, but not this fucking controller. This controller doesn't work. My fucking arcade fight stick does, and I just put my foot on it. Fuck you. Knock knock. Who's there? Fuck you. Okay, check the top of the Taboo page instead. 200 casualties. There had been an earthquake. From the look of it, it was 5 on the scale. That was an awful lot of casualties, though. Supposedly, the number was likely to go higher than 200. There was other stuff, too, about how the sky above Shibuya turned temporarily white, or how a big mushroom cloud above the city. But nobody seemed sure what it was with the earthquake. Hachan was talking about Shibuya again, or Shibuya is screwed. There was video, I could see cameras, and this wasn't just an earthquake, was it? I felt an incredible headache when the quake hit. No, it was way worse than just a headache. It felt like my brain was boiling over. And even 2 hours later, I was still in aching pain, and I felt exhausted. Maybe if that's what happened when someone struck you in the microwave. If that was the case, maybe my idea about getting wave attacks from Shogun weren't just illusions. I know the sound of it must have been Grim. It was Shogun. I could tell because scary music started playing. I was in fear. Shogun, I wanted to leave. It was the gaze of God, or maybe it was God, but Shogun, I wanted to run away. But where? He could find me anywhere in Japan. Hey, it's been a while. It's the first thing he said. He was talking like he was greeting an old friend, but I never remembered being his friend. I bit my lip and stared at the characters on the screen after he spoke. What? 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 Called Rimi's number. It was easy to find because it was one of only a few in my contacts. Haha. Save me, Rimi. Do you hate me? Rimi, please, it hurt to breathe. Rimi wasn't... Why aren't you here now? I'm sending you a present. A present? Send me another one of those pictures, and this time you're gonna make me out to be the Nugent killer, aren't you? No, I'm not the killer. Felt like a fish. It was full of my only hope was Rimi. I gripped the phone tighter, praying and focusing on every sound that came out of the receiver. It picked up. Help me. The person you're calling is not available. I hope you like it. A voicemail, oh no. Okay, the last one I chose was red. I hung up on the phone, disappointed. I wrapped my arms around myself to keep steady. My body had started to shake. I was more afraid of Shogun than I thought I was. Of course I was. He was pretending to be disabled, but he was a murderer who'd killed people 5 times. I was his next target. Please help me. Taka! Rimi! It's like it was planned from the start, like the cry of my heart had been heard. Rimi had come to save me. She flung open the door and came racing outside. Rimi, help me! She looked at me for a moment. She instantly saw that the computer was... She began to hype an angry look on her face. Shut up, jerk. You leave Taku alone. You just need to tell him straight. Turn back. That'll get rid of him. Is that really true? Rimi didn't think it was a big deal. Maybe that was because she didn't know a lot about the internet. Wouldn't that just make him even more mad? Especially somebody like Shogun. He gulped and waited for Shogun's next words that came quickly. I'll kill you. Silence, oh no. Knew that would make him mad. Last sentence sounded really pissed off. He's all talk. It's not like he's going to come all the way up here or anything. Anyway, Taku, are you okay? I'm sorry. I saw that you called. I was on my way here, so I couldn't answer. I got worried about you after the earthquake and ran straight over. Nigga, fuck. I've got horrendous form because I've never played basketball before, but Taku, this is what we call green as shit. You're green as fuck, nigga. Now, yes, she's just his friend, all this and the other. She doesn't owe him anything. He's a fucking bum. She's just acting in friendliness, not out of love. I don't fucking care if they kissed at the very beginning of the prologue, if you remember that. But I mean, Taku, you're I mean, maybe if you weren't such a worthless bum, you would have a green shot and she might be romantically attracted to you. I guess. Would that count as him becoming friends with her just to try and date her? Which would be really shitty. Don't do that. I'm glad I came. Even as she talked, I couldn't take my eyes off the monitor. The words "I'll kill you" frightened me more than I could say. No, it's fine. I'm here for you now. You don't need to worry about a thing. What did you do? Kill me, he'll kill me. We need to run. Calm down. He's not going to kill you. You're being silly, Taku. Suddenly, Rimi felt silent. Her eyes narrowed and she looked up at the ceiling. What's wrong? But whose eyes are those? She whispered, her expression twisted. She put her hands up to her head in pain. My head suddenly hurts. It feels like it's gonna split. It hurts. She fell to the ground as if unable to bear the pain. She shook her head frantically from left to right. Why did it suddenly? No! I looked up at the ceiling. Beyond it, to where there might be a satellite. Was Shogun attacking? It hurts so much. It's gonna split open. And then blood dripped from her mouth. The moan suddenly stopped and her body shook when she fell headfirst onto the floor. Nigga, do something! Rimi? There was no answer. She wasn't moving at all. She'd been killed. Shogun's electric wave attack from the satellite had killed her. It was such a quiet way to murder. He killed Rimi without making a smell or anything else that would let you detect him. And the silence only made it more horrifying. There was nowhere to run. I dropped to my knees right there and tried shaking her shoulder. Wake up. Wake up, Rimi. There's nowhere to run anywhere on Earth. Don't leave me. Shogun could attack me anywhere I went. This has to be a delusion.